I like most is the very concept of this book. This book is sort of a letter to a yet-to-be-conceived son, correct?
He doesn't exist yet. He may not, in fact, actually exist. But the idea is that someday he may exist.
And so why'd you do it?
The connection between baseball and fatherhood, that is not something that I've discovered. You know, I think that's been written about before in a lot of ways. But I wanted to come at it from the son's perspective and kind of how that kind of connects and how really, you know, in a lot of ways, it's not just the way that fathers and sons actually talk in a lot of ways, but it's actually the way that men communicate in generally a lot of ways is the idea of like, that's what baseball is about. And certainly that's how I communicate pretty much with everyone that I know about baseball. I don't have to know the person. I can disagree with them on everything, but if we can talk about baseball, we get along pretty well. What's
so compelling is you discuss in detail your own relationship with your own father.
I always find, particularly too, when people write about their fathers, you know, they have some sort of score to settle, you know, or you know, their father was abusive or an alcoholic or so on. My dad's actually a pretty nice guy, and I actually think that probably most dads aren't.
And among the things you share, or maybe the most important thing you share, is baseball, and in this case, the Cardinals.
There's a joke in the book about the idea that when I went off to college, you know, because I grew up in a small town in Illinois, and I went to the University of Illinois, which is closer to Chicago. And one of the great conceits of the book is that even though we grew up in Illinois, my father had never actually been to Wrigley Field, because he explained quite simply, well, there's just a bunch of Cubs fans there. Why would I want to go there? Which, you know, I kind of like that has like, that answers a certain fierce ideological purity to it.
Besides the relationship stuff, you also bring up some points that I find fascinating, because I get frustrated, you know, when you read about Billy Crystal, these other people who talk wistfully about baseball. They're talking about rooting for the Yankees when they never lose, you know, for 30 straight years. They never lose. That's got to be really hard growing up. But they talk about baseball as if, you know, you and I in our 30s, that we missed the golden age. But did we really miss the golden age of baseball?
Yeah, you know, certainly if you were to believe, and no offense to Billy Crystal, I loved him on Soap. You know, I don't mean any offense to Billy Crystal, but certainly I think there is this idea that somehow because people of that age, and I think you see a lot of sports writers, mainstream sports writers are probably this age, and they have the idea that if you were to believe it, when Roger Maris hit that home run, hit that 61st home run, it was the fulcrum around which all of early 60s culture pivoted. And if you look at clips from that game and look at photos from that game, Yankee Stadium is maybe 1/4 full. And now, you know, and there are more people watching baseball right now than any other time in human history. The game actually is growing, but I think baseball in a lot of ways, people try to tie it to its past too much, and they have this beautiful idea of that, like somehow every day Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris just drank Ovaltine and plowed the fields, and that's not the idea that baseball somehow has become an impure game. Baseball has always had problems, but baseball has always had problems because of the humans that run baseball.
All right, thank you so much, and thank your sister behind you for being such a good sport.
Of course, she's been silent. She has not been this quiet since she was like 1.